Everyone talks about how The Simpsons predicted the future, but what if I told you anime did it too? Not once, not twice, over and over again. You thought it was just entertainment, but the world didn't listen. Maybe we should have. Welcome back to Anime Dungeon, the place where anime isn't just animation, it's prophecy. Today, we're diving into 10 times anime predicted the future, and got it right. These aren't just coincidences. They're moments where fiction and reality collided. And the result? Chilling. Let's begin. Let's kick things off with a prediction that's almost too accurate to ignore. We're talking about the iconic 1988 anime film, Akira. So there's this scene, right? A giant sign in dystopian Neo-Tokyo says, 147 days until the Tokyo Olympics. Cool detail? Maybe. Except the story is set in 2019. And the real Tokyo Olympics? Yeah, they were planned for 2020. Now here's the crazy part. If you zoom in on that sign, right underneath, someone spray painted, "Just cancel it." Guess what happened 147 days before the actual 2020 Olympics? That exact phrase, "just cancel it," was trending on Twitter. Protests, pandemic delays, chaos, just like in the movie. Akira didn't just predict the Olympics, it predicted the exact vibe surrounding it, and honestly, that's terrifying. Number 9. And this one hits way too close to home. Ghost in the Shell, back in 1995, imagined a future where people could literally merge their brains with machines. Think about that for a second. Cyber brains, AI consciousness, neural links, all standard in the world of Motoko Kusanagi. At the time, that was pure science fiction. But now, we've got Neuralink, brain implants, AI assistants that sound like humans, and cybercrime is one of the realest threats in the world. Ghost in the Shell didn't just imagine smart tech, it asked what happens when the line between human and machine disappears. And seeing where we are now, yeah, it was dead on. Number 8 is one of those predictions that feels uncomfortably real. Psycho Pass dropped in 2012, and it asked a simple but chilling question. What if the government could scan your mind and decide if you're dangerous? In the show, there's this AI system called Sybil. It reads your emotional state, your stress level, your potential for violence, and if your crime coefficient goes too high, boom, you're flagged, arrested, or worse. Sounds like dystopian fiction, right? Except in the real world, predictive policing is now a thing. AI is being used to forecast crime hotspots. China's running social credit systems. And surveillance tech is getting smarter and scarier every year. Psycho Pass didn't just predict the tools, it predicted the moral nightmare that comes with them. And let's be honest, we're already halfway there. At number 7, we've got a hidden gem that most people completely missed. It's called Dennou Coil, and it came out back in 2007. On the surface, it's a story about kids messing around with futuristic glasses. But look closer, and it's one of the earliest, most accurate predictions of augmented reality. These kids wear AR glasses that let them see and interact with digital creatures, glitched out zones, even virtual hazards layered over the real world. And that was years before Pokemon Go. Before Apple Vision Pro, before Meta started building the so-called metaverse. In 2007, this show basically mapped out the way we're trying to live right now. Dennou Coil didn't get loud or dramatic. It just quietly said, hey, someday your reality might not be just real. And honestly, it nailed it. Coming in at number 6, let's talk about Cowboy Bebop, the coolest anime of the 90s and apparently low-key prophetic. Bebop takes place in this gritty, broken-down future where people use digital currency, the economy's a mess, and everyone's just trying to survive. Sound familiar yet? Back when this aired in 1998, crypto wasn't even a thing. But now, we've got Bitcoin, Ethereum, entire economies based on blockchains. And yeah, a whole bunch of people chasing digital coins like bounty hunters. Bebop didn't just predict a cashless society, it predicted the vibe, the economic anxiety, the massive wealth gaps, the feeling that the system's broken and you're just a speck floating through it. For a show that's all jazz and space cowboys, it really had its finger on the pulse. And that hits way harder in 2025 than it did in '98. Number 5 takes us way back to 1985. The anime is called Megazone 23, and if you've never heard of it, don't worry, most people haven't. But it did something insane. In the story, there's this virtual pop idol named Eve, an artificial singer created by the government to distract and entertain the public. She performs concerts, she interacts with fans, and most people don't even realize she's not real. Sound familiar? Fast forward to today, we've got Hatsune Miku, KDA, VTubers, and entire fan bases built around characters that don't physically exist. Some people even marry them. Megazone 23 didn't just predict virtual idols, it predicted the emotional connection people would form with them, the loneliness, the escapism, the obsession. In 1985, that sounded ridiculous. Now, it's basically mainstream. At number 4, things get real. I mean, like, actually real. Tokyo Magnitude 8.0 came out in 2009. A super grounded anime about two kids trying to survive after an 8.0 earthquake hits Tokyo. No mechs, no powers, just raw human survival. Now here's where it gets creepy. In 2011, just 2 years later, Japan was hit by the real Tohoku earthquake, a magnitude 9.1. One of the deadliest natural disasters in modern history. Entire towns destroyed. Over 20,000 lives lost. And if you go back and watch this anime, the destruction, the panic, the emotional trauma, it looks identical. It's not just similar, it's painfully accurate. Tokyo Magnitude 8.0 wasn't action-packed or flashy, it was a warning, and heartbreakingly, it came true. Number 3 is way more grounded, but somehow still ahead of its time. Space Brothers dropped in 2012. Two brothers. One promise, they're going to space. But here's the kicker. One of them ends up training with JAXA, Japan's space agency, to become part of a moon mission. And back then, that was just science fiction. Fast forward to now, and guess what? JAXA is officially working with NASA as part of the Artemis program, not just building tech, but actively preparing to send a Japanese astronaut to the moon by 2025. That's over a decade after this anime aired, and it basically called it. Space Brothers wasn't just hopeful, it was visionary. And the more you watch it, the more you realize it wasn't about fiction, it was about the future actually coming true. All right, number 2. And yeah, we're going back to Digimon. But hold up, this isn't about nostalgia. It's about how this show basically predicted the Internet of Things in 1999. Think about it. The Digivices? They're small, connected devices that sync to real-time data. They open portals, track digital signals, even evolve creatures across dimensions. Back then, that was wild. But now, that's literally what smart tech does. Phones, watches, fridges, cars, all connected, always syncing. We live in a world where your thermostat can talk to your speaker. Digimon imagined that over 2 decades ago and made it look like the most natural thing ever. They didn't just predict the tech, they predicted the way we'd accept it. No questions, no fear, just digital creatures walking beside us like it's normal. And finally, number 1. You probably didn't expect One Piece to top this list, but trust me, this one's way bigger than pirates. During the Whole Cake Island arc, we learned the truth about Sanji's family. They're part of a government-run operation that's creating genetically engineered super soldiers, cloning, emotion suppression, designer children built for war. That arc aired in 2016. And just 2 years later, a Chinese scientist announced the first gene-edited babies using CRISPR. Since then, the conversation around genetic manipulation, cloning, and biotech warfare has exploded, and One Piece saw it coming. It didn't just predict the science, it predicted the ethical chaos that comes with it. How far is too far? Who gets to decide who's perfect? One Piece asked those questions through a shonen battle arc, and now, we're asking them for real. This wasn't just a twist, it was a warning. So here's the question we're left with. Was it all just coincidence? Or did these anime creators see something coming long before the rest of us did? Whether it was science, disaster, or the way we live online, these shows didn't just imagine the future, they predicted it. And maybe, just maybe, they were trying to warn us all along.